back, listeners, to another episode of Mindful Living Podcast with your host, Sana. Listeners, this is the space where we explore ways to bring more harmony, health, and peace into our lives. I'm your host, Sana, and today's conversation is truly special because it challenges the way we think about healing, mobility, and even pain itself. Now, hear me out. Most of us have been conditioned to avoid joint pain. But what if I told you that your joints actually crave pressure? Surprising, right? Now, that compression cleanses, strengthens, and remodels joints, giving you the long lasting relief and mobility you have been searching for. So, to help me unravel the answers to all of these questions and this concept, I have an incredible expert in joint health and bone strength, Jeff Bailey. Now, let me share a bit about Jeff with all of you listeners. With over 13,000 teaching hours and a deep understanding of how the body heals, Jeff has helped thousands reclaim the movement they love. His unique approach not only addresses chronic pain and mobility issues, but also helps many avoid unnecessary joint replacements. A little bit about his journey. After experiencing a high speed ski accident at 50, Jeff had a revelation that changed his entire outlook on healing. That joints need pressure to thrive. And now at 61, he's a living example of his method's success. And he's also the author of The Yoga Mind, a trained rolfer, and an educator who has mentored over 100 teachers. So, listeners, if you have been struggling with joint pain, arthritis, and simply you want to move through life with more ease and strength, irrespective of your age, this episode is for you. So, with that, Jeff, welcome to the show, and it's an absolute honor having you with us.
Oh, thank you, Sana. It's a joy to be here.
Okay. So, Jeff, before we even talk about this, really new, surprising, fact that I guess all of our listeners have learned today, would you like to share a bit about your journey? Uh, Although I barely scratched the surface in the intro, but please.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. As you were sharing my bio, the thought that came into my mind was the, this is going to sound funny, but the healing
Mhm.
power of injury. Okay. So I had that high speed ski accident. I had a severe knee injury before that. And each time my injury led to a new direction and where I became happier, more helpful in the world, and more able to help the people around me, and and more purpose came into my life. So I often say there may be injuries, but there are no accidents. And and what I've found, Sana, is the purpose of an injury is to slow us down. You stop and think about it, we get injured and we get frustrated because it slows us down and we want to push. We want to do everything we can to get our previous life back.
Mhm.
And what I found is the moment we get an injury, big or small, we say I say to myself, well, that hurt. I just had an injury. That's I watch all those feelings come up, but then I say, oh yeah, there are no accidents. So what is it showing me? What is this injury for? And that frame of mind has become so powerful in my life. It's what
Mhm.
has showed me when I slow down and I stop being afraid of the pain, which is a very um, to look at our fear of pain and choose
Mhm.
against it is a very, very healing, deep power that we really do have. And so when we do that, well, when I did that, that's when I started to go into the pain in my joints.
Mhm.
And very slowly, very thoughtfully, I became amazed at how quickly the pain went away, my mobility increased, and then I would go back to the doctor and get MRIs and X-rays, and I would see the arthritis just going away. So I've become my own experiment in terms of living a pain-free, mobile, and happy life.
Hmm. That's quite profound and really really different take on this because uh, when I mean we have so kind of so much fear and anxiety when we think about injuries. But it's really good to see that how you have learned from your injury, uh, mentally and physically strengthening yourself, and now you're sharing the gift to others as well. And also, um, when we experience pain, we are often told to take rest and avoid pressure. But
Mhm.
you say, when with respect to joints, that they need compression to heal. I mean, it's like two negatives becomes one positive. So
There it
can you
is,
see
yes.
why that is such
Yes,
work?
that's right. They cancel each other out. Yeah,
Oh,
um,
good.
yeah, and now let's be clear, joints love pressure, but
Okay.
how we give them pressure is everything. So we could just as easily, we could say too much pressure too fast equals injury, right?
Mhm.
So so we have to be very thoughtful and slow down, and that's why, I don't have yoga poses because a pose implies some sort of performance or accomplishment. So I call them
Mhm.
yoga shapes. So we just come into a shape. I could have 50 people in the room all doing the same shape, but each shape would look very, very different according to each person and where they are at very thoughtfully and slowly entering into the compression and a little bit of discomfort. And so, that's why the classes in the beginning, they're all guided, and I have a very step-by-step introduction to the process on my online program. But because
Mhm.
if you go into it too fast, you'll feel the pain and it won't work, and then you won't want to try it again, So it has to go very slow and very thoughtful.
Mm. Mm. Makes sense. Makes so much sense. Okay, so for someone who is listening right now to our conversation and they are dealing with stiffness or chronic pain, how
Mm.
do you suggest they can start applying this method today?
Well, um, I don't want to turn this into a sales pitch, but because it's such a new concept,
Mm, mm.
I would encourage them to visit my online site, and I have an introductory series of
Oh,
14 classes. Some are just as short as 20 or 30 minutes just to introduce the idea. You go very slow. You have to, it's a whole new way of thinking because as you started out the show, Sana, you said, we're conditioned to avoid the pain
yeah.
and reduce pressure on the joints. And
Mm.
so it's a completely different way of doing it. And by the way, I do have a book coming out in August, and I've
Oh.
written extensively about this. And there are lots of scientific studies that support it. It's just that um, no one has really capitalized on the idea
Mhm.
and turned it into a therapy.
So I have two questions from here, Jeff. Um, Now, when we take the consideration of age, although with the current scenario, I think age is not the primary factor here. It's more because of our lifestyle and everything. But when we take
Yes.
consideration of age, joints, of course, they kind of lose that tightness and everything. And it's very common, especially in if we talk about gender as well, especially in women, because they tend to lose calcium more. So do you
Yes.
think this concept is equally applicable across all the genders and ages, or there's a caveat here?
Yes, I do. I think it's a universal concept. And you said that even you believe that it's not so much age, but a lifestyle
Yeah,
that may be contributing to pain and joint stiffness.
right.
So if you think back on our youth and you watch, kids up until the age about 20 and maybe even into their early 20s, they're very playful. They hang from tree limbs, they play on the playground.
Mhm.
Most of them are on their phones nowadays, but that is the time when they play,
Yeah.
and in the play they sit down, they squat, they they lie in all kinds of different shapes, and they talk to each other for hours in different positions. That's that's the yoga. That's what it's all about. So which comes first? The the lack of steady use and compression on our bones and joints, or just, you know, age and everything becoming a factor. So I don't I have found in my life, I'm more mobile and my bones and joints are more healthy now than I was in my 20s, and I'm 61.
Uh-huh.
And
This is a
and my students report the same thing. And I'll say that it's mostly women and men over 50 who are drawn to this because they've tried so many things. And they're the ones who now time and gravity have caught up to them.
Mhm.
And the prime age to catch this really is it's always sooner the better, but if you can catch it in your 40s, 50s, 60s, I've had students in their 70s get remarkable results. So, in my opinion, yes, youth is helpful, but we can turn this around at any age with a thoughtful practice.
Mm, that is super, super inspiring. Really, really powerful refrain. Because this particular concept, it shifts the entire mindset from avoiding pain to retraining the body. Um, okay, now connecting to the theme of the show. So, your work is also deeply connected to mindfulness, understanding how breath, awareness, intentional movement support joint health. So, can you throw some light on the mind body connection in this process and why it is so essential?
Yes. Oh, it's so beautiful. What a great segue, Sana. Um, yes. So here's what I found. There's a difference between pain and healing sensation. So if I just said to you, like one of the simple shapes is lie on your back, support your head with a firm cushion, have your knees bent and
Mhm.
your feet on the floor. And then I would say, bring your right knee towards your right shoulder and interlock your fingers behind your thigh with your fingers in close to the back of the knee. And then slowly bring the knee towards you. Now, what's happening there? You're generating pressure in the hip. And if you were to interlock your fingers over the knee, then you would also add pressure into the knee, right? You following? If you did it too fast, if there was some arthritis in there and you did it too fast, then you would bump into the pain and you'd just say, I can't do this. It hurts. But if you go very slow and you close your eyes and you slow down your breathing and you listen very carefully and you go slow and then you start to feel, oh, there's the little bit of painful part. There's the restriction. And you don't back off, but you also don't push into it. And then you wait. Now, your mind is so in that moment, your mind is so attuned with the healing sensation. It's like a meditation where a meditator might sit and gaze at a candle flame or gaze at the sunset or the sunrise or follow their breath, or have a beautiful piece of music. It's very helpful, very, very helpful to have something steady and pleasant for the mind as an agent to help us tap into our peaceful center.
Mm.
In my yoga, in Avita Yoga, the sensation is the candle flame. We go so slow, and there you are. And my voice would be guiding and saying things like, observe the feedback,
Mhm.
befriend, befriend and join the sensation. Remember, yoga means to join, which has everything to do with the mind. And so we join in mind and we merge with the feedback and with the sensation in the hip after a couple minutes. And we do hold the shapes anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. After a couple minutes, even your fingers will start to have sensation because of the pressure and the way you have your fingers interlocked. After a while, there will be even pressure in the shoulders.
Yes.
And so,
And
yeah,
on the
you go ahead.
like, yeah, even on the rib side, from where the entire the stretch it happens, there will be we we we
Yes,
we can feel that stretch happening.
yes, that's right. Yeah. And so, most yoga has all to do with the stretch. And I'll say, we're not here to stretch the muscles. We're here to use the muscles to get to the bones and joints. So while you might feel a stretchy sensation, the stretchy sensation almost always has a corresponding compressive feeling on the opposite side. So it's a shift away from stretching and into compression. And whenever you're compressing one part of the body, there's another part that is releasing. So it really is, in every sense, it's all about the compression and the joining, the way the mind just comes right into the shape. And what I teach in my teacher training, we talk about this a lot. The healing sensation is a doorway to the healed mind or to our peaceful center. And why would we want that but to have more peace and joy in our lives, but also for the intuitive guidance. Who doesn't want more intuitive guidance in their life to be able to
Right.
tap into your heart and follow it? That's what that is the icing on the cake. Your joints get stronger and healthier, but you find more peace and more guidance.
Mhm. Wow, that is so holistic, and I think it also redefines yoga because most of us associate yoga with relaxation, um, or maybe uh, more advanced level awareness. But I think understanding breathing, understanding the sensations we are feeling in our joints, in our fingers, on our shoulders, I think it really, really is such a beautiful picturization of the body mind connection. So thanks for sharing that, Jeff.
Indeed, yes.
Great, great. So before we wrap up, I know there's a time constraint. I mean, I could have gone on and on this because this is so sounds really, really revolutionary. Such a simple thing, but really revolutionary. If our
It's
listeners would
simple.
love to know more, if they would love to know more about, you know, this particular approach, and they would like to connect with you and also get access to your books, your upcoming book in August, how they can do that.
Well, my website is Avita, Avita, Avita Yoga Online.com. And there's a page there to get started. You can learn about it. I do have YouTube videos. Um, yeah, it's it's all right there. I'm trying to find ways to reach people all around the globe. And while there's nothing like being in an in-person class, you know, um, the online is a pretty darn good format. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll come and visit you and we'll do a class together in India. That'd be fun.
Abs- Absolutely, because there's a huge percentage of right now we are more into that phase where lifestyle diseases are common. Um, I think there's definitely going to be a huge requirement in the other part of the world as well. And I guess globally,
Mhm.
people would love to explore more about this approach. So, Jeff, we'll have all the details mentioned in the show notes for our listeners. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your fascinating insights. I think, they are truly shifting the way we think about healing, movement, yoga, breathwork, awareness. So I'm really loving how you have made joint health feel approachable and empowering at the same time.
Oh, thank you, Sana. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's about keeping and growing and maintaining our healing power, which is always within. And it doesn't mean we go out, it doesn't mean that we don't ask for help. That can be part of it. But really everything should just grow that healing power which is love and light within.
Love and light. Right. Beautiful. Beautiful. And to all of my mindful living listeners, if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to connect with Jeff and check out his resources, his classes. And also don't forget to subscribe to us, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to know about this. And remember that healing starts from within you. So give your body what it needs and it will thank you. And until next time,
Mm.
stay well and keep moving with love and light. Thank you.
Mhm. Beautiful.